All right, where are we? We are in the New Year's 2023 Nine-Hole Cup. Jeez, holiday season. And we always go on vacation during this time of the year, so we're prepping to go on vacation. We're leaving Saturday. Be gone for several weeks, so we'll see. Going out and practicing today. So we're on Greenock Point. All of these holes are on Greenock Point. Let's look at them. So we've got new pin. Let's look here. So we have new pin placements. Some of these holes for Greenock Point were redesigned. So I'm assuming that we're taking the redesigned hole and then they moved the pin placement. They did redesign the holes, and then they came out with a tournament after that where they went back and brought out the original holes. I really like this course, and I really liked the original holes. This is a tough course, and I think that the new pin placement kind of made the course easier. It was one of those courses where you really kind of had to pinpoint place shots, and now it's a little easier. So I have no freaking clue what the holes are going to look like. So we'll just go check it out. If I can touch the screen. See if I can grab my pen. If I can get a hold of the damn screen. Where is my pen? There it is. Hey. All right. Here we go. Practice hole number 1. All right, let's look at hole number 1. Let's see if the hole looks the same here. And I know that it's been a while since I've played these holes. I know that you can come at it from this side over here, and I think if you're in farther back tees, this is probably an area where you're trying to get a bounce here and you're trying to bleed through this rough and you can come through. You can bounce off of this island. Now, when you're coming off this island, watch your second bounce. So if you look from the tee box and you're out into this area, for instance, so you got this nice transition, and obviously the cup is to the right. Here, let me see if I can scroll out a little. So you're on this trajectory, looking at this area. Look at your second bounce over here. So it's real easy. Like, this is the shot that's comfortable. If you put side spin on it, the more side spin you put on it, the more you're going to pull that bounce towards this rough area, and really be cognizant of where that bounce is at. So if you're trying to do a rough bump, I think there's actually a rough bump that you can do where you can get up here and do a rough bump, but I'm not sure. So let's just go play it. And we'll go out there and try it out. See what the options are. We definitely want to get either right out in front. You can get on the green and kind of make a run for it, but really the whole goal here is to get eagle. If you can get right off the front edge, you have a nice flat chip. There's 2 of these holes, and I'm not sure if they're both in Greenock Point, but there's this hole and there's another hole that's very similar. And I think that's also on this course. So they've got a 2 power ball, and you can see where their red line's at. Trying to do the rough bump out of that. That might not be a bad way to go, doing the rough bump out of this heavy rough. Let's see what kind of bounce they get. 1 ring great to the right. Nice. Very nice. That was nice and easy. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe that is the side. When we first came out and messed around on these holes, we didn't have... I'm actually going to try that because that might be the way to go. Two four, it's 1.5 per ring, so that would leave me, that's a ring and 2/3. Hitting it perfect. The mail lady came. Here comes the dogs. maybe just a little teeny, like 1 bar less topspin, not so much to keep me on the green, but just to make sure that if you catch it on those days, I don't know how far the rough is from where I'm at. But you definitely don't want to take any risks of rolling off and then ending up in the rough. Practice. All right, that's one way to play hole number 1. That's actually, I have never played that way before. A lot of the deal is when we first started playing, there's some shots like rough bumps. Like nowadays, you say rough bump, everybody knows what you're talking about. And when the game first started, it took a couple years before rough bumps became really kind of the deal. Hold on 1 second. All right, spam call. Here we go. Hole number 2. Hole number 2. All right, this is one of the original racetrack holes, and they've changed these holes so many damn times. There's 2 of these holes, and the other one they've changed quite a bit too. And the other one, I almost always come at it from the right and go around the trees. But on this one, I believe with the new configuration, we do have a bounce that we can take off the trees. There is a way that we can start off over here and come at it where we're starting off on the green and then trying to bring it down. I think I tried this several times last time where I was trying to bring it down the hill. Or you can take the shot off of this trying to bring it around. The thing about this is you can, it's just tough. It's tough for repeatability, and you're always like super close. But it's not that you can't make it from over here, because obviously pretty much everybody who's played the game's probably made one from over there. It's just hard to repeat it. That's one of the reasons on the other one of the holes I go at it from the right hand side, because you can actually kind of like set a shot up. So I have no idea how I'm going to play it. I'm just going to go out there. I'm going to try actually going at the green. Let's think about taking some clubs with some backspin. I'm just wondering if you bring out a driver, can you get to the green? Can you actually try a dunk? Because the hill's so damn steep there that even if you miss the dunk, you're not going to fall off the other side of the... It's not like you're going to miss the green completely. Let's check out driver. What do I have? It's got the most backspin. Thor's Hammer. And actually, let's not screw up bag number 5. Let's put the Thor's Hammer there. We'll try a Titan. I'm going to look at these holes and see. Part of the deal is you play a hole for a long time, or when the holes first come out, and like, you know, some of these holes have been out since the game came out. So we didn't have 4 side spin, we didn't have 5 side spin, we did have 5 power balls with berserkers. But, you know, like all of the ball inventory and all of the stuff that you can do, there's a lot of these holes that changes. There's spots that were on the hole that you could get to that spot, but you'd never make it through. But with some of the new spin balls, there's the top spin boost balls, there's spots that you can get into. And so when you're going back and playing some of these old courses, even if they're ones you played 1,000 times, you got to at least look at it, because you know somebody out there's got the right stuff, and they're gonna take that shot. They're going to. Hey, what is the deal? Practice. Let's practice hole number 2. Let me see, how many practice tokens do I have? Okay. I was shooting a video one day and I ran out of practice tokens, and of course I was in my auto account playing, and I have no tees or nothing in there that will give you practice tokens. So it's like, well, shit, now I have no practice tokens. So I guess the only way to get them would have been to get the golf pass. I've noticed on a lot of the older courses, like going back and pulling out different stuff and like checking out the side that we never hit to before. And some of the courses, like the Oasis with the new pin placements, like you're playing to the side that you never hit to before. But like trying, rethinking some of the holes and see what's possible. Yeah, you can get on the green with even a 0 power ball. I'm just wondering if I could do a dunk. What is my Thor's hammer? And I'm not sure I have numbers for my Thor's hammer. All right, where are we? And where am I at in my club? There's max. There's min. So I'm pretty close to mid. It's like 1.9, so 1 and a little. Isn't it perfect? I just want to see if it has enough backspin to keep it up on it and bring it back down, and then you have a second shot at getting it in. I'm going to work on that shot this week. I don't know. Usually, you can do the racetrack side of it. I think if you start off down at the bottom, you could probably run some topspin to get up to it. You can, because of the angle that you're coming in there, you might be able to use that area almost like a rough bump. We get that effect on several holes where you're hitting into a hilly area like that. You might be able to, even though it's the fairway, the fringe, trying to run it back up the hill. And a hold. Nice. Nice. With where my club was out there with a 3 power ball, like if you had a rocket, like maybe you don't have a Thor's hammer that's that high, but the rocket has lots of backspin. If you're going to try like a dunker, if you're going to try and just like go at it, you do have some options there. It seems like they changed those trees. That area, that hole has been changed, and I don't think we were able to come at it as much like that. The trees were more in the way. Hole number 3. What is hole number 3? Granick Point. Hole number 3. Oh, now I wish that this was what the hole... Now this is this the original configuration? This is the original configuration of this hole. The newer configuration... So on this configuration, this is a prime example of why I love this course. Okay, this right here, we don't play in this configuration. What you're doing is you're playing to get out into this area, and these trees are in play. So if we draw a line from the flagpole to the tree, if you're on that side of the line, these trees are now an impediment where you have to work around them to come up to this area to get it down here. So now your movement on your ball is going like this, and you want the ball to go this way. So now you need to get the little S in it. And so the way you would normally achieve something like that is to use a little bit of curl, but you can't use any curl because of these damn trees. So there is a very specific spot. There used to be a tree out here that cast a shadow across, and you wanted to get right to that shadow. That gave you the lane. If you were short of that, you were short in club. If you were long of that, these trees were in play. So, I mean, there was a very specific spot that you needed to land. And this is a very tough Albie, but for whatever reason, I've gotten a shit ton of Albies on this hole. And but the new way of playing it, if it's the new hole configuration, is we only play up to this area and then you come down to the hole. So we'll have to see it. And maybe this is the new configuration in this picture, because it does kind of bounce up like that. So this may be looking at both, but the older configuration, we never played this way. The new configuration, we never really play this way. And I believe that I need a 3-power, 3 side spin ball and a rock. A number 2 bag sounds like it'll work. And a 3 side spin ball, but 3 power. And if it is the new configuration, you cannot put all the topspin on it. I like coming around the corner, so I think there is a limit on how much you can put on, like 2 or 3. I like the old configuration on this course because there were so many holes that, like shots like this, you had to put it in the right spot. If you didn't put it in the right spot on your drive, you didn't have a second shot. You could get, it wasn't that you couldn't get on the green, you just had no shot. You could get up on the green and get your eagle and move along, but you had really no shot to get an Albie. Plug my device in before it dies, since we're at 5%. Yeah, this is the new configuration. You could still hit to the same spot up here, but I believe if I get to the right spot on the other side, then you're changing clubs. I think from up here you're in wood, and if you're on the other side, you're in long on it. And I'm probably going to regret having brought that 3-power ball, because now that I'm sitting here thinking about the second shot, now they overhit that. And they're behind those trees, so now they've got to contend with it. They do have a small little window here, but you don't want to hit it that far. I'm not even sure. I'm going to put on 1 backspin, or a little bit of backspin. I better put on a whole bar. It looks like it's going to go too far. It'll be 3.5 rings off. It's 1 per ring. 1.9 max curl. Isn't it perfect? Now it's all about whether I hit it too far. Probably could have did that with no backspin, no topspin, just neutral. It's always better when you can use a little bit of backspin, but man, if they had a Cataclysm from there, they could do a rough bump. They might be able to do a rough bump with their sniper from there if they had a bigger ball. One ring great to the right. All right, here we roll. And my sniper, and I'm definitely at max club. I'm definitely downhill. I'm going to do a 3-ring pull. That was plus 15%. Woo! In the hole. I love this hole. I liked it better the old way, though. It was much, much tougher. Still a tough hole, but it was definitely tougher before. Hole number 4. Hole number 4. What is hole 4? If I've always advocated that, like with the clans, because really, if you step back and think about it, Playdemic has done dick with the clans in what, 3 or 4 years? They've done nothing with the clans. But it'd be really nice if the clans could pick a course, a home course. And I would argue with my clan that this would be the course that we should pick. I love this course. And the course, especially the old course, because it taught so many skills. All right. From the upper divisions, almost not, you will find yourself coming from this side more often. And this is definitely a hole where a Thor's hammer comes in handy because of the backspin. You can come at it from this side as well, or you can do a rough bump. And the rough bump here, you can move that rough bump around in this area to try and get yours. If I remember correctly, it seems like in one-on-one, just like as a standard number, even though I don't think that it's the number that you need to get into the hole, that you need to make a slight adjustment. But I'm going to start off just doing a 0. I'm just going to go out there and hit wherever the hell I'm at my club and just try and figure it out. I believe if you want to get up into this area to do a rough bump, that you have to bring out, I think you have to bring out at least a 3 power ball, and I think the side spin is an issue. So you may be able to get it done with a Titan, and you might need to bring out a Kingmaker. I'm going to start off with a Kingmaker. We'll start off with a Titan. We'll see how much I need, and if I don't need a Kingmaker, I'll drop down. I should be in my sniper range, so it's snipers 1, -1 if it's over 3, 1.1 at mid, 1.2 at min, +1 if it's over 3 at min. What that means is if it was a 3 mile an hour wind, it'd be 1.2 per ring +1. If it was 2.2, it'd just be the 1.2. And this has always been traditionally one of those holes I've made hole-in-ones on, but it's not a hole that, I don't know, it just seems like you're always just like searching, searching. The pin placement so far hasn't been that big of an issue, and on this hole, it might help, because the old pin placement, like I said, was always wishy-washy. .1. Where am I at in my club? There's max. I'm right at max. So 2.1 divided by 1. It's 2.1. .1. There's 2.1. Let's hit it perfect. Hitting it perfect. Watch where this hits. Ooh, definitely in tailwind. Need to add on some. There must have been like 2 really stiff blades of grass that kept me from getting into the sand. It is storming outside. all the ice has melted, which is good, but now it's definitely windy and rainy and windy and real rainy. In the hole. All right. So we know that if we're in headwind, we definitely need to add on some wind. I would say a lot. 15-20% I would start off with. At least. Hole number 5. All right, what is hole number 5? What do we have here? Okay. All right. Man, I was really bummed about them changing this hole because the old configuration of this hole, oh man, this is another like awesome par 5. So the newer way of hitting it, we have so many options now. This all used to be rough. So if you wanted to use the rough, you had to be in a very specific spot to use this rough, and from the area up here that you would want to be in to get to that rough bump, you had to bring the right ball club combo, because it was very easy to find yourself in between where the club you really wanted to do the rough bump was actually out here on the fairway and you couldn't get to it, and you were too deep, so then you were screwed. There was no area here to bounce over to get over that. So then you had to do an overpower rough bump. But with this new configuration, if you lay it up into this top area up here, you do have some options where you can bounce it over and you can come up, but I still think that the rough bump is the way to go. Now, for years and years, like trying to get all the way over and trying to get up in here like that, I think with this new configuration, it might be possible with some of the toss and boost balls to get like, maybe. It'd be worth exploring. But for years and years, my target area was right here, and it seemed like the roll to the cup, it was just like, oh, it's just like on the edge of the cup, You make an adjust on the edge of the cup. So the last like 3 times we played it, I changed my initial landing zone, and I went to this area out here so that I could change my angle into the cup and use this ruffle. I wanted to change something because this area here was just like you're beating your head up against the wall. And if you keep doing that and you keep doing the same thing, but you're expecting something different, that's insanity. So I changed something. And I got out here, and I think like in the last 3 tournaments, I'm going to have to go back and watch one of the last tournaments that this played in, because the shot to the cup, I was doing like plus 25 at mid. It was some weird deal, but if you use that number from this area, I sank like shit in like the last 3 tournaments. Out of 15 tries, I probably made 10 albies. So definitely, I'm going to definitely go back and find the video for this from previous holes, what tournaments this played in. Yeah, this hole has played in other tournaments. Well, with the new pin placement, it hasn't, but with the new hole configuration, it has. And even with the old hole configuration, when it switched over, I was really bummed because I'd finally, like, that spot was like working, but it was working the same with the new configuration, because I'm coming into the hole the same way. I'm still doing the rough bump. I'm not using any of this shit. So let's get this done with the Kingmaker. I probably talked for so long it'll restart. Well, can't believe that. Kingmaker. Selected. Let's think about, let's have it, it's pinned. Let's think about, I'm going to start off with this just because I want to see what it looks like out there as far as like getting over. I'm going to have to go back and watch, because there was a very specific, and it was a really weird adjustment. It's like, okay, why didn't you just switch to 1-to-1 and then do like 12% or something? And it was mid at 25. It was some weird deal. But if you hit it perfect, it was going in the hole. Originally, this hole's had a minor tweak on it, because originally the the hole was in a bowl. And if you had your speed right when you came onto the green, you were going to end up in that bowl, and there was a good chance that it might go in. And I don't think even with topspin boost. I'd have to get my bounces like right there. And I don't think that'll work. It might. If you had the right wind. I better take the shot before I run out of time. If I don't go too far, which I probably did, because I normally take this with a rock. And I didn't hit it far enough because I clipped the rough right there. Unprepared. I probably won't be at mid now, though. That's got to be max. Perfect. Does that ball look like it's just going to go straight? Ooh. Man, I thought that was going to end up in the rough. Nice. That works. That dog will hunt. Yeah, no, I'm in the zone. That's way short. Still going to do the same thing. 3.2. It's 4 rings. .2. It's about a ring and a power. Hitting it perfect. Let's see if I can get close. Just. Not quite enough. I think with a, from where I was at with that 3 power ball with the topspin boost, I'm not sure it would really help you to get over to the other side. You would be in long iron instead of wood. Yeah, I used to all roll down to the cup, and it was in a bowl. It was in its own little bowl inside the green. I actually thought it was more albiable after they got rid of that, even though it did kind of lend itself to getting albies on it before, once they took it out and you could actually shoot for the cup. Then they did the redesign on it. There's several holes in the game I could think of that are one of the par 3s. I know that they've completely redesigned that par 3 at least 3 times. I think we're on our 4th generation. Hole number 6. What is hole number 6? I'll work on the drive on that just so that I can get farther down, because we want to be able to do that rough bump. So I left all of the distance on the table to do the rough bump. And it looked to me like even if I got the distance that I needed here, if we had a headwind day, we might have to deal with a red line issue. So it might be better on a headwind day to bring out a 4 power ball just for the second shot. You can always do what my opponent did. Bring out the little stuff. Hole number 6. All right, this is another hole. I'm curious to see where they put the pin placement on this. So we have several ways that we can play it. We can play landing zone A, landing zone B, landing zone. Well, there's several ways to get to B. I really, like if you were landing out in here, really you're trying to get to one of these two areas. You could say C, but how do you get to B? I like to go from the C side and then bring it around to come out at this direction. You can use this little area right here and try and go straight forward, but once you see this, if you've never been on this hole before, once you see this right here, this looks like an Olympic ski jumping platform, and there's no way I want to hit my ball off of that. I mean, if you're an inch to the left or the right or forward or back from where you set the shot up, your end result could be dramatically different. Fail areas here, if you're hitting out into this zone, be cognizant. Okay, let me draw a line to it, because that is a popular area out there. It's not as popular as the B area, but if you're trying to get out into this zone out here, see this right here? Obviously, the higher you can get, the more you clear your path to the green so that you can try and get a straight run at it. You don't have to like use a lot of side spin in order to get around the rough area up here. So to get up into this area, if you start off on your drive and then you put a little bit of curl on it to bring it that, you really got to watch your second bounce, because your second bounce, this arc down here is very little, and I see a lot of people where they just clip the rough right here and it bleeds out. You can get caught up in the rough here, and that's bad. You can recover if you've got a Nirvana in your bag, and from here you can get up there and you still got a shot at it. But if you really want to get the distance, be very cognizant of your second bounce. I'm going to come out here and go this side right here. Now you do not have to bring out a big, like a 3 power ball. You don't have to bring out anything bigger, but if you do, it can get you more. Like you really want to get up here, you can be in short iron range. In the past, to the cup, I think we've done like a plus 10%. It's right in that range. It might be like 7.5 or 12.5 or 15, but it is right there. I'm going for that direction. I'm going to try it with a power 3 ball and see if I can get over there. Let's take a Titan. If that doesn't work, I'll switch to a utility ball. The 4-4-4. The working man's ball. And I'm going to take my number 1 or my number 5 bag. I'm going to start off with my number 1 bag. Practice. Practice now. Hole number 6. This is a great opportunity for eagle. This is definitely a makeable par 4. It's not a gimme, but it's definitely makeable. You can't put yourself in the right spot to give yourself a really good opportunity. Originally, when we came at this, it was almost always when we came at the green, like on the second shot, it was more of a backspin. But if you're in the right spot, you can start at the top and it just takes like a couple backspin. It's always better when you can do a shot where you don't have to put as much spin on it. You have a lot more control over the ball. Yeah, you can see how it's like they had that fairway down there and they were like, hey man, can you lift that grass up? We want to stuff some sand underneath of it. There is no way in hell I would use that spot. Look at it. Doubles as a skateboard park when there's no golfers out here. Whew, that was close. They'll like their second shot from there, though. I think that's long iron range. Three, 4. Hitting it perfect. Let's see if it can make it over this bounce right here. If it'll get some run if it misses that fairway. It got a weird little bounce right there. It hit out in the fairway, but it was like on a, when it was like going into a pocket, it got a weird little bounce. Oh, my opponent isn't short iron. Excellent. Deep in the short iron. I'm gonna do a 10%. That will not. It is definitely downhill to the cup. Looked like that was like they were trying to get it to suck back up to it, and I don't think that'll happen. Okay, it's 2.9 per. Where am I at? There's max. There's min, so there's mid, so I'm eking towards max. So it's 1-1. Yeah, maybe from this spot. We'll have to do backspin. That's unfortunate. $2.9. It's 1.1 per ring. So, and I was going to do a 10% adjustment. There's 2.9. Hitting it perfect. Get in the hole. I'm going to have to work at the approach on that because I did not like having to put that. One of the cool things about a Kingfisher, especially if you got lower developed clubs, is the Kingfisher, you should look at it in your bag because it has backspin. A lot of low developed clubs don't have backspin. It doesn't have a lot of topspin. That's its weakness, but it doesn't have a lot of distance. But early game, it's pretty accurate, good ball guide, and has backspin. In the hole. All right. That pin placement is definitely just changed the approach to that cup. Because before we found a spot where you didn't have to use a lot of backspin, and I'm gonna have to go back and that hole right there is definitely worth practicing. Hole number 7. The final 3. Here we go. Hole number 7. All right, this is the other racetrack hole, and they've changed this hole so much that now really I believe the way to go out is still to go this way. There are several ways that you can come at. You can come at it this way and throw it onto this hillside, and it'll roll around and it'll come down to the cup, depending on where the hell they put the flagpole. I think this one might also have a new lane. There was always a lane between these trees, but I think that lane might be a little widened out. You could go directly at it. If you're coming at this side, you can come down low and try and go straight to the cup. You can also bring it up to the top and let it roll back down to the cup. So you have some options here. I am not sure exactly how I'm going to play it. I like the idea of being able to go straight at the cup, but let's think. I probably don't need to I'm going to bring a Quasar just in case I need to spin. And I'm going to bring a Katana. I'm going to take that bag, just not the secondary clubs in most of those bags are the same. Practice, practice, practice. We'll have to see where the pin is. Not even sure if the racetrack side's even viable with the new pin placement. It depends. If they put the pin about 2 feet away, a little bit lower and to the left, that's exactly where we almost always ended up on the racetrack side. That spot would be awesome. If it was me, I'd have put it in a much tougher spot. I'd have put it dead center in the middle of the hill. Let's see what we got here. I go first. I just want to see what it does on the field. So I'm 2 rings off, max backspin, max side spin. Hitting it perfect. Not going to roll down that hill at all. I'd have to start it up higher. Well, I'm not sure that it plays like that anymore. It used to be it seemed like the green above it was steeper. So like you'd come up almost where my opponent's second bounce is, you'd come up into that area and you dribble out onto the green and then it would roll down to the cup, but the green doesn't seem to be as big, number one. And number two, it definitely doesn't seem to be as steep. And I have no idea where my opponent's ball is going to go. And if it goes in, it's like they'll never be able to replicate that. This is another hole worth practicing right here, just to try and get a spot worked out. And the ball. This might be one of those holes that a bigger side spin ball might work better. If my replay will finish, they're done. All right, hole number 8. Hole number 8. All right. It seemed to me they redesigned this hole, and this hole we used to play like coming at it from this direction, but it seems to me if you brought out the right ball, you can go from right here. You're skirting this edge and you're going towards the hole. So depending on what kind of ball you bring out, I think your red line's encountering this rough. So if you bring out, a lower power ball, you're having to come out more in this, so you're out in this zone. You bring out a bigger ball, you can pull into the left and get into that pocket, so it's more of a straighter shot. Okay, hold on one second. All right, let's go out there and play. I think that's the only way to go at this hole now. They changed it around. What's funny is that in the old configuration on this hole, I think we do need to bring out a power 5 ball. I had massive success on the old configuration, and then like the last 2 tournaments that we played it in before they changed it, I got my ass handed to me on this hole. And it was like a super easy, just shoot the shot, set the shot up. It's a setup shot. You're freaking laying it up. Like, how hard can it be? Evidently it was hard. Let's see if I'm remembering it correctly. I think I've only played this configuration once or twice. And you're probably thinking, yeah, dude, it's only been on like 1 or 2 tournaments. So yeah, I've only played it once or twice. Seems like it has been twice. if I can find an opponent and say, thank you, Muggsy, but you're a replay. Come on. You know you are. Admit it. Yeah, I think you're trying to get up into that zone right there so you can just tap it in. Tap, tap, tap it in. $2.7. I'm going to do a ring and a half. That's a 10%. Isn't it perfect? So you could easily get on there. I put on one backspin just to be, or 3 backspin just to be conservative, just to make sure I didn't go over. Obviously I didn't need to put that much. The whole goal on a hole like this you may have a serious shot at hole-in-one here, but the whole goal is to get eagle. Never forget that on these par 4s. Just need to hit it perfect. And possibly great to the left. Let's hope great to the left. I was hedging my bet there for those of you that watch my stuff on a regular basis. Instead of going right at the flagpole, you hit it perfect, it goes right in the hole. You can try and give yourself a little, when you're up close like that, that ball probably would have gone in on a great to the left or the right. Eagle. That's the goal. Eagle. All right. That hole seems like they made it super easy, because it was not that easy before. And all you had to do was bring out a power 5 ball. Or a power 4 if you had days when you had tailwind or pure side wind. So you didn't have to do any overpower. Hole number 9. Is that right? Are we on hole 9? We are on hole 9. The big par 5. I don't remember. Oh, let me think if I remember this hole. I do remember this hole. Now, there are several ways that you can play this. I think most people that I see play this hole will play up into this zone up here, and it's not as easy as you would think. And you do not want to over-roll this, because if you're in the rough here, you are in big, big, big trouble. Now, if you're in the right spot, you can. There is a window. There's several windows through these trees where you can come right at it, depending on where they put the flagpole. But you could use this lane to come at it. Otherwise, you're going around. And this is kind of a blind curl shot. You can't really tell where you're going to come out. And the green used to be like really high, and it was sloped kind of like this. I mean, it was super sloped. Some people would try and get from here and like bridge the gap to get out here in front. But there is a lane through these trees, and this tree. There is a lane that comes through where you can catch right here. And if you've got enough topspin, you can try and rough bump, and just like anywhere you end up on the fairway out here is good. Even if you end up in the rough or the sand right here, you have a straight up shot right to the cup. So I usually like to go through the trees and clip this area and try and bring it around and end up right here. Because my fail spot, okay, if you fail back here, you could be in a spot of bother, but you do have a straight ass lane right to the green. If you fail over here, you got a pretty easy recovery shot. Whereas if you fail up here, you're in trouble. Big trouble. And this is a blind curl shot. I don't really need to do that. So you got to hit through these trees, and I'd rather be in front of them. Let's try it. Let's see what we need. I'm thinking just a power 3 side spin ball. I'm thinking just a Kingmaker. Although this wouldn't be a bad area for one of these topspin boost balls and it's got more side spin. I'm gonna try one of those because really that might be it, because you take all of the freaking topspin you can get, and even a level 9 extra mile doesn't have enough. But I won't be able to get on all the side spin and get on all the top spin, so we'll see how it plays out. We'll see. If you think about it, it was pretty smart of them at the very beginning. I bet you there's a ton of shit that they started at the very beginning that they kicked themselves and are like, man, if we'd have known it was going to be this successful, we would have did this. But one of the things they did start off with at the very beginning was that. Whatever that is. Jimmy, the old Hendrix fan. So I'd have to put on a little bit of little teeny bit of overpower. I can't really put on any curl because I'll clip that tree, so I have to put on a little bit of power and not a lot of curl. Hit a one ring grate to the right. As long as it clips the fairway here, and it caught the fairway. Actually, I normally it'll rough bump out of that, but with that extra topspin, that one extra topspin, it actually cleared it. Wow. Usually I'm right there by those shadows because it just barely makes it out. Perfect. Perfect. See if my opponent gets it. Yep. And that's about where I normally end up. Hold on, boo. Alright, let's take this shot to the cup. Kingfisher, where am I at in my club? I'm right at max. It's 1.3 per ring, or 1.1 per ring. I'm just going to do a normal pull, so that would be 3 rings and a quarter. Hitting it perfect. Woo! In the hole! Is that 2 Albies in the same round? Look at that. Look at that. Walking around letting the dogs out. Let the dogs in. Let the dogs out. All right. And that was just a straight up pull. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, so that's what these that's where the new pins are. I'm not sure, other than the one par 4 in the middle, I'm not really sure that it's had too dramatic of an effect on gameplay. I think the one so far that's been the most dramatic to me is the Oasis, because the Oasis is definitely seems tougher. All right. Picked up a few and dropped a few. Did not pick up that. The par fours here, like I said, 2 of them I think we pretty much have to make. We've got to make number 1. We got to make number 8. The mid par 4 has always been a makeable but tough par 4. And we have great opportunities on pretty much every hole. I love this course. And as many times as I've played this course, I've probably played Greenock Point. I could say I've played Greenock Point as many times as I've played any other course out there, but I've played it, almost all of that has been in the old configuration. I do have some timing grade on the new hole changes, but it played so much tougher in the old configuration. This course was a tough course. So for people that are like, man, this is a tough course, this course used to be really freaking tough. And I think Golf Clash really needs more tough courses where, like, just trying to get minimum score, like trying to get a hole-in-one or trying to get some of those is super tough. I think they need to have more courses like that out there, and this course they've made easier. All right, there you go. The New Year's 2023 9-hole Cup. That was my practice round. Just a little scouting report. I'll go back and watch this video and see what I did right and wrong on every hole, and try and figure out what kind of club ball combos I need. Thanks for watching. Everybody have a great holiday season. I will try and shoot at least the opening round, and maybe Saturday morning the weekend round before we leave. And then I'll be gone for a couple weeks, so if you don't hear from me, I didn't die, I'm just gone. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.